Welcome to Fit Chicks Chat, the podcast dedicated to fitness, nutrition, wellness, and mindset. For more information on Fit Chicks Academy and our upcoming fitness and nutrition expert certification, as well as our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching certifications, please visit fitchicksacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy today's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fit Chicks Chat. My name is Amanda Quinn.
And my name is Laura Jackson.
And today's podcast, first of all, I'm super excited because Laura and I are back together again. We haven't recorded together in so long. It's been I think 6 weeks or something of just like these solo things, which are cool. But I love when we're together because we just get to bounce ideas off of each other, chat about things that we love, and just connect and share our own thoughts on different topics. So welcome. I'm just excited.
I know. I feel
so
like it's been longer than 6 weeks. I think it's been
I don't know if it's been that long,
months.
but either way, we're back. We're back. And it's like, I'm super pumped. So today we're talking about a topic that we're very passionate about, because this is about the idea of helping our coaches see the value of what they're offering. Because as everybody knows, at Fit Chicks Academy, we are running certifications. We are certifying people to get out in the world and spread healthy love and become certified coaches, sharing in fitness and nutrition and wellness and menopause and all these amazing things. And then sometimes they can feel like, well, how do I share that message with potential clients? How do I actually allow clients to see that this is something that they really need? It's like the missing piece of the puzzle. And so today's podcast is all about how coaching isn't a luxury, it's the requirement for success. So this is not only about understanding that what you're offering is the requirement for success, but also how to help your clients see that this is the missing piece of the puzzle. This is the missing link to help you be able to kind of step into that role and lead without feeling salesy or without feeling, like a slimy car salesman or anything. Sorry if anyone's a car salesman listening, but anything like that, and just allowing you to kind of step into that. So I'm excited to share this because I do think it's a really important piece when it comes to coaching, because it's not just about knowing how to coach, it's about knowing how to actually step into a leadership role as well.
Well, and I also think it's not even about leadership. I think it's about owning what you do. You know what I mean? I think that this is one of the things for a lot of coaches, and especially for female coaches, we tend to downplay, or we're like, oh, I'm not an expert, or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, or we tend to second guess ourselves a lot more. And I think the idea is, and what I talk to our students a lot about is you've got to believe in what you do for other people to believe in it. That's why I love the title, like coaching isn't a luxury, it's a requirement. So if I'm talking to somebody about coaching, I'm like, dude, you want this result, go find a coach. Invest in a coach. It's part of your plan. If you want to lose weight and you have no idea how to do it, go find someone who's an expert in it, who's done it, to coach you along that journey, right? I mean, the other option is you can figure it out yourself and it's going to take you a really long time, or you can hire a coach. But when I talk about coaching, I'm so sure of it because I know how beneficial it is. It has absolutely transformed my life having coaches. So I am so in belief about coaching, but I find a lot of coaches, especially when they first start out, like you said, they're kind of feeling, if I'm telling somebody what I do, it's because I'm trying to sell them or I'm trying to feel salesy. But when you have such a belief in what you do because you know the results it gets, it's so much easier to talk about it because you're not even just selling, you're just sharing. You want everyone to be coached because you know the value of it and you know the outcome.
Yeah, no, that's so well put. And I think, the problem with most clients out there as a coach is that, most clients are out there and they're doing this alone for too long. And so they don't even understand, they just, they're trying all these different fad diets and workout programs, and they're doing all these different things for so long and jumping from one bandwagon to the other, that they just think that this is just how it is, right? Like that if it's weight loss or if it's strength training or whatever it is, but whatever their goal is, they just think that it's just always going to have to be this rough, bumpy road, versus because they've never actually hired a coach, or they've never hired a coach that specializes in the area that they want to focus in. And so they're not even aware of what's on the other side of it if they actually hire a coach. They've done it for alone for so long that they haven't even recognized that, like, that is the missing piece of the puzzle. So that's where your role as a coach is to like step in and say, actually, what you're doing is cool. However, this other piece is what you're actually missing. And that's what coaching really does, right? Like coaching really is, it shortens the learning curve for a lot of people, and it provides accountability and clarity and feedback and all of these things, because those are the missing pieces for most clients. Like, Laura, what would you say is like the number one thing whenever we have hired coaches, or you have hired a coach or worked with a coach, what's the one thing that you felt like you were like, oh my gosh, like this is the missing piece of the puzzle? Like it is all of the programming and everything else, but there's usually one thing that really kind of solidifies it. And I know for me, it's the accountability. And even whether it's business coaching or a coach that, is helping with health or wellness or things like that, it's always the accountability piece for me that is like, it makes me stay on track. It forces me to like second guess veering off track, because I'm like, no, 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 someone's paying attention, not just me.
Yeah, for me, I don't necessarily think it's the accountability. I think it's more of, I like having somebody who has a result that I want that can keep me in the right perspective. Like that's what I always think of, because our brains give us so much drama, right? So whether it be for your business or be for your weight loss journey or be for your fitness journey. So if you're hiring a coach who has something that you want, right? They have usually gone through it already in some way, shape, or form, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not going to hire a business coach that's never made any money, right? So they can kind of give you a different perspective. And that's what I really love about coaching, is that there's so many things that, yes, they can give you shortcuts and fast tracks based on what their education experience, and like what they've done with clients. But then also they just give you a different perspective. So when you kind of get stuck and you feel like, oh, nothing's working, they keep you out of that and they keep your mindset right. So that's what I also think is really, like, for me, that's probably the most beneficial thing.
Yeah. No, and that's so true. And I do think though that the other piece of the puzzle that I think that coaches do for a lot of clients is what I mentioned earlier, which is like shortening the learning curve and preventing the burnout, especially when it comes to health and wellness. Think about how many times clients have been like, like I said, I've tried every diet, I've tried every workout program, I've tried this, I've tried that, or they try to do everything at once and then nothing works, or it works for 5 days and then they're like totally just like the momentum fizzles out, and then they're like, I can't keep that up, that's like completely unrealistic. And so then they try the next thing and they try the next thing. I think what a coach really does is they shorten the learning curve of like the idea, you don't have to do all of the things at once. You can do these steps and this is going to progress you faster. So if we use weight loss as an example, it would be like, instead of thinking, well, I have to go to the gym and I have to do an hour of cardio every day, and then I have to do this and I have to do that. And people think that there's all these layers to it. Whereas a coach could be like, actually, you know, you could do a 20-minute workout at home, and then you could also go for a walk. You could incorporate meat into your day, and then you could actually just start focusing on this, like, adding more protein and adding more fiber. And just by doing these things, you're going to get better results than what you thought you were supposed to do, right? So it's shortening the learning curve and shortening the process so that it's not going to be this like a year, 2 years, or even a lifetime of consistently just flipping around, but instead actually giving you a roadmap that works and that makes sense, and that's going to tighten it up for you in a faster way.
Well, and I think for somebody who is a coach, it's really important for you to understand why people need a coach, right? Like when I'm talking business to our students, I always kind of talk about this too with them, around the idea of, if you're going to get to the point where you are going to share and talk about your coaching and sell your services, you have to understand, like, what is the benefit for people? Why would they need it? And it's not about convincing. Like, this is the thing I always find so fascinating too um with coaches as they're starting to try to sell themselves, is that there's always this belief like I have to convince someone that they need a coach. And
Yeah.
it's like, No, you have to understand why people need a coach so you can, talk about the benefits of coaching and understand how you're going to position yourself talking about it. But you don't need to convince people, because there's so many people who are actively looking for a coach. They know that they need someone to help them. They just don't know who. They don't know how to hire someone. They don't know where to find these people. So the more you start talking about, understand why people need a coach and then talk about your coaching, the easier it is for you to bridge that gap.
For sure. And I actually think that if you have to convince somebody to buy your service or your product or
Oh,
your thing,
no.
if you have to convince them, the amount of resistance that you're going to receive as you're going through the process is going to be like, it's not even worth the convincing. It's not even worth the sale, because if there is a process of like, you are literally trying to actively convince someone to take that step versus just showing them the value that you can actually give to them by them taking that step, it's totally different. Because if somebody recognizes the value that you can offer, and if they recognize that this, by deciding to move forward with hiring you as their coach, this can change their life, because now they're going to have somebody that is going to give them the support they need or the strategy they need, or give them the roadmap or whatever it is and shorten this process, then they're like willing to do the steps. But if you have to convince them, I promise you, everything is going to be hit with resistance along the way. You're going to consistently feel like you're just like battling this like battle that feels exhausting. So
And I've
I
done
just
this
think,
before. I've
yeah,
done this before, not even necessarily like with clients, but even convincing people in my life that they need something because it's
yeah,
benefited me so much, right? Which is why I'm saying, like, when I'm like, no, you need a coach. It's so good. And then it's like wanting something for someone that doesn't want it for themselves, right? So
right.
it's like like those are not your clients. So don't waste your energy on them anyways.
Exactly. And when it comes to selling your services too, like I think most coaches do feel really awkward about selling because they probably have never been in a sales position before, right? Like they've probably never been in a position where they've like maybe in a role that they've ever had to sell, like in their 9 to 5 job or their other jobs or whatever. Like maybe they've just never been in that position. And so they feel like it has to be like, hey, I'm selling this thing. Like they're like putting on a show or like doing this thing, right? It doesn't have to be that way. All you have to do is show the value that you're going to give and show the transformation that can be available by working with you, because that's what people care about and that's what people buy into. They buy into the idea of the transformation and the option of being able to get the result that they actually want. So if you're showcasing the result and the transformation that you provide, and like it's not about this offer, it's about the transformation. So if you look at it from that lens, and if you really focus on the idea that I'm not selling someone something that is not going to benefit them, but instead if you change your own mindset as a coach of like, I'm selling something that can actually help change someone's life, and then that completely changes it. It like erases the whole feeling of, oh, I'm like just out there trying to sell something. Like it erases this idea that everything I'm doing feels salesy or gimmicky or anything like that. Instead, just do it really authentically and just talk about the benefits and talk about the actual transformation that you can give. And then it takes away all of that resistance for you as a salesperson. Like I love selling, you know that, Laura. Like I love it. I love it so much because I know that I know what we give in our academy and what we sell in our academy is something that can change people's lives and has a ripple effect around the world. I feel so strongly about it that I have zero resistance to it.
Well, totally. It's because also like the way that we have positioned selling in the world is that selling is a negative thing, that selling is
Even the
convincing.
word is selling, right? It sounds
Selling is like
negative.
a used car sale, which I don't even understand why that is a bad thing. But it's just
I know my dad
it's
owned a
become
used car dealership growing up, so I'm like,
well, yeah, and I think a lot of it too is that we also, and this is just kind of like a side note for my coaches out there, it's really about understanding what the exchange is. Like you were
mhm,
saying, like it's really about understanding like money there is just an exchange, right? So you are providing a service, a transformation, something that's going to help their lives be better. And in exchange for that, right, they are giving you dollars or whatever your currency is. And that's all
mhm.
it is. But people get all tripped up too because they feel like they're convincing or they're asking someone for money or that they don't believe yet. And this is the big thing why I say being like, you've got to sell yourself on understanding why people need a coach. You have to believe in coaching and the results that it gets, because if you don't, then you're going to feel like you are trying to convince someone, or you're going to feel like what you offer is not worth that money that they're going to give you. Like to me, when I'm like, okay, someone's going to sign up for our certification and they're paying X amount of dollars, I'm not sitting there being like, oh my gosh, that's so much money they're going to give me. Are they going to get something out of it? I'm thinking, they're getting such a steal of a deal on this because the program is so good and there's so much value in this program, and they can make back 10 times their money if they follow and utilize the systems and the materials and the blah 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 very quickly, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I've already sold myself on the coaching. Right. So it's like, as a coach, when we start thinking, oh, I'm going to ask someone for money, and oh, my program's $500, and like, that's a lot of money. And then we start to make the money mean something instead of thinking of it's just an exchange, right? That's how business works. You have to, in order to be successful in business, you have to contribute to the world. And people think, that's why I don't understand the selling part, like why it gets weird. It's like, if you're contributing something to the world that has value, then people will exchange their dollars for that value.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, all of it is just an exchange. No one's losing, no one's winning. It's just you're trading. Everything's a trade.
Yeah.
So it's like, you've got
You're
something
trading,
that's great. They've got money that they want to pay for it, and you're just trading this for this. We used to do it with salt way back in the day. Right. And then we turned
and
to
it's
dollars.
just, and it's cyclical, right? Because it's literally, and then you're going to trade that for something that you value or that you need, and then it just continues in the world. And that's like the cycle of money, essentially.
The circulation, and money needs to circulate, right? It needs to circulate around, which is why, exactly, like the value that money then gives value to someone else, and then that money is used to add value to that person's life, and then that money is used to add value to somebody else's life, and it just circulates. It's the exchange. So it's just like, the more, like, this is the thing I always think when it comes to selling, first is the mindset, right? It's like understanding that, and understanding that like what you're doing is so valuable, it takes off so much pressure. So you got to sell yourself on the coaching first before you're like, what do I price? Well, what do you feel comfortable pricing at? How do you feel comfortable sharing with somebody? How do you feel comfortable? Like, are you comfortable showing your clients that they need coaching?
Yeah. And I mean, and if you're not like, if you're not even sure how to do that, how to show your clients that they need coaching, there's things that you can do, right? Like, I mean, we've been talking a little bit about this today, but like, I think it's really showing your clients too, like, they don't need another meal plan. They don't need a perfect workout. They don't need that. What they need is they need transformation. They don't need more information. They need transformation. There's a really big difference between more information, which is like, I'm going to just teach you this, and I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you this. They need transformation. And transformation comes from the idea that you're actually giving them a skill and a tool to help them actually transform their life. And one of the things that we actually talk about a lot in FitChicks Academy is the idea that your goal as a coach should be to have your clients fire you, right? And so that's the difference between information and transformation. Information is, I'm going to give you a program, a meal plan, a workout program, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to sell you on buying this thing. And then you're going to go through it, and you may finish it or you may not. And that's kind of like, that's selling somebody on like a program. But a transformation, and actually showing them the difference and then what they actually need, which is the transformation, is I'm going to help you transform your health. I'm going to give you the skills, the tools. I'm going to give you everything you need to transform and to maintain that transformation for the rest of your life, so that you can fire me as your coach. So if you sell the idea that I'm going to give you these skills so that you never have to hire another coach again, so that you never have to go backwards, so that you never have to be looking for the next fad diet or the next bandwagon, that's the value. Like, there's so much value in that. Think about if you could actually stand up and say as a coach, like, hey, if you hire me as your coach, you'll never have to go on another fad diet again. Think about the value associated to that. Like, if a consumer is looking at this, like if a potential client is reading, I have an 8-week program that is, going to be following this diet and following this and this and this. And then your message is, I'm going to help you never have to go on another fad diet again, because I'm going to help you transform your health and keep it that way. Which one are you going to sign up for? Right? You're definitely going to sign up for the one that's a transformation and not here. So that's where when you're showing clients the value and you're showing them why they need a coach so they never have to do this one again. They never have to do the 8-week program, the fad diet, the da da da. Instead, they need to hire you as a coach so that they learn the skill to transform their life.
Well, and I want to get a little bit like you're helping them become the person who can live in
Exactly.
that transformation. Like this is where again people get really tripped up, right? It's like we think we're hiring someone, or coaches also get really tripped up, I should say. Coaches think their job is to give people actions, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a meal plan, I'm going to give you a program, I'm going to give you this to follow, I'm going to check in with you, I'm going to be here for accountability, which is part of it. But really what you're helping someone do is become the version of themselves with learning this skill set of health and weight loss, with seeing their self, changing their actions, their behaviors, seeing themselves differently. They're becoming the version of themselves who can do it, which is what makes it effortless. And we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, right? And there's this whole like flow that you have to be, do, and then you have, right? So you become the person, you do the skills, you do the things, you eat the meal plan, you do the workouts,
The
and then you
actions.
have the result. But a lot of us and a lot of coaches, they're not helping with the be part. So they're
Yeah.
just going in and helping people with the do. So like this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do. But you can't do for the long term if you don't become. So it's like
Yeah.
this is the part that I think why we talk so much about mindset at Fitchix Academy, because we're not just helping, like how does your client fire you? Well, when they become the person who can do this without you. So really
Yeah.
what you're doing is, yes, you're helping them to get to this goal, but you're also helping them to become a different version of themselves. And when you do that, then the outcome is inevitable, right? So it's like those are the things that I always think, when you're hiring a coach, really you think you're hiring them for one thing, but they're really doing something else. Like even every time we've hired a coach, whether it be in business, whether it be in like when I did a fitness competition, whether it was becoming a life coach, whatever it was, that's really what, like I'm hiring them to help me become a different version of myself. I think I'm hiring them to teach me the skill of how to market or run a webinar or whatever, but really I'm having them help me become the person who can facilitate that, which is a
Exactly.
totally different thing.
Yeah.
So I
No,
always
that's
think
so
it's
beautifully
always
said.
this sneaky thing, right? And that's where, as a coach, like you are helping someone become a different version of themselves, to live a totally different life. Like, do you know how powerful that is?
Yeah.
It it's crazy to me when you really think about it.
Yeah, it's like and I always think too, the funny thing is that, like you just said, you think you're hiring somebody to help you with learning how to grow your business or how to lose weight or do these things. But the back end of it is really, as a coach and as a good coach, it should be like, well, no, I'll help you with those things. Those are like logistical, right? Like those are just like things that we're going to do. But I'm actually going to help you transform you as a person to become the next version of this person that you need to be able to manage and handle all of these things. And this is the thing when it comes to health and wellness and fitness and all of these things, is that so many times clients they're stuck in, like what you said, the do section. They're stuck in like I'm just going to keep doing the different fad diets, and I'm going to just keep doing the different workout programs. And then when it doesn't work long term, I'm going to blame the coach, blame the program, and look for the next one. But it's
Yeah.
because so many coaches are not focusing on the B. So that's why, I mean, even in our academy, we have an entire section of each of our certifications that focuses on that part of like teaching you actually how to coach people, not just teach you the skills, but teach you then how to utilize those skills and actually coach through those parts. Because those parts, that's the part that gets your clients results for long term. That's the part that gets your clients to fire you. Which again, if as an aspiring coach or a new coach, you might be like, I don't want people to fire me, but you do. You really do, because
Yeah.
that's when you know that as a heart-centered health coach that you've done your job. And also the word will spread them like fire, right? Because then you're going to have people that are like, oh my gosh, I learned how to do this through this person. I've never had to diet again. I've never had to do this workout program again. So I just think that that's, and that's always been a focus of ours. And I think as a holistic professional and as someone who looks at all aspects, it has to be part of it. So, we're going to wrap this up for today, but I think this is just something that we really wanted to share because I think it's so important. So if you are someone though listening right now, you're a coach, an aspiring coach, and you want to be able to get certified and be able to help people with not just the skills, not just giving them the plan, but actually help them transform and learn how to transform. Our summer fast track programs are open for our certifications. You can check them out, fitchicksacademy.com. You can learn more about both of our certifications that are open right now. And we have our fitness and nutrition expert program, our holistic nutrition weight loss coaching program. They're both open. We have our summer fast tracks. They are ready to go. So if you want to fast track your success and be able to get out in the world faster, check them out right now because you can work at your own pace with your success coach by your side. So check it out, fitchicksacademy.com. Thank you so much for listening this week, and we'll see you again next week on Fit Chicks Chat. And yes, we will be back again together. So excited. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Fit Chicks Chat podcast. Want more healthy love? Visit www.fitchicks.com for amazing resources, free workouts, recipes, tips, and so much more to help you live your healthiest and fiercest life, inside and out.